Hi, my name is Marcel, and I'm a practitioner and someone who works with helping people find meaning and move through what is stuck and disconnected. And I work with a variety of modalities, one of them being Tantra. I work with astrology and I work with tarot. And I feel that to be able to do this work, I have to start with myself and move through my own real challenges before I can have any sense of helping others. I guess this is what they call the wounded healer. And this work has pulled me to it because of my own wounds. So I would like to explore the idea of going through very dark nights of soul, especially if it comes with a desire for suicide and the fear around that. And as someone who's gone into those depths myself and has experienced being forced to meet the worst of the worst feelings within myself, I really can say that um, over the journey of our lives, we experience complexity of emotions and we're much more comfortable with opening up to what is beautiful. And we know love, or at least we know aspects of love. We know joy, we know laughter, um, we know silliness. But when it comes to sitting with darkness, it's a much harder um, energy to process. We haven't been taught how to do it, and the general consensus is to push it away. But I'd like to share with you from my perspective what I've noticed with my own work is that the more I can relax into the darkness and the more I can become aware of something really, really intense is hitting me right now. And the more I can just l- let it really come through. It's something old that wants to move through. Um, where the suicide ideation comes in, or the desire for it, is the mind meeting that discomfort that is so painful and so uncomfortable and so ancient, and there's no conscious awareness always of where it's coming from. When that arises, because we're not able to process it, and by process I mean really letting it be felt and letting it in, we tend to push it away, and the mind tries to take control over feeling helpless and powerless, and it creates all kinds of narratives, um, doom and gloom narratives. This will fail. I will end up alone. I'm going to lose everything I have. Hell, I've even explored the possibility of I could end up on the streets. So, depending on the severity of where you're at and the exploration of the idea of killing myself means ending this discomfort, I want I want to share a new approach that could potentially help moving out of it. I also work with astrology, and what I often see is when big transits, and especially when you are going through a dark night of soul. So, when big transits, like anything to do with Pluto, Pluto is the shadow material that is hidden in the subconscious. So, anything like Moon square Pluto, which is emotion squaring Pluto, or Mercury square Pluto, when these heavy, intense transits happen with Pluto, it's especially with the moon, it's temporary, but it's very, very intense. Sometimes it is longer, and it pulls you into a downward spiral if you're not careful, if you can't catch it. And so our challenge is to learn to ride that wave. It's just a wave. That's all it is. It's passing through. And so for me, oftentimes it comes in the early hours of the morning. Sunny. For me, it comes in the early hours of the morning. And it's often when I'm in that lucid state. So it's almost like it's entering my field. It's waking me up from my dreams. And it's this haunting anxiety that hits me. And so what I find myself doing is relaxing into it, relaxing the body, and just really bringing the awareness from the mind, from the story, and just really letting myself feel it. And I've just come out of something really, really intense. And I found by consistently doing that, it allows me to move through it much quicker instead of staying stuck in it. And how I see it is it's, we're carrying lifetimes of shit. We're carrying all our ancestral gunk. It's all landed down on us. And these things don't really have an outlet because we haven't been shown how to, we haven't been taught how to. So life wants to clear these traumas out of us. It wants to free us. And the problem is that the mind keeps us locked in. So when these things happen, the more that you can completely just stay with the feeling and just relax into it and let the absolute horribleness of it hit you, and all it wants to do is move through and then out, and that is it. Just let it move through you so that it can release. Now, it's not always that quick. Sometimes it takes days, but this is where the skill comes in. And I would say ultimately that this is what the work is about. It's the ability to master staying with the body, staying with the feeling of what feels uncomfortable versus trying to make a story out of it or rationalize it or intellectualize it. And the more that we can stay with the body, the more tuned in we become with our bodies, and the more we are able to feel into what is okay for us and what isn't okay for us. So, with regards to suicide, I just don't feel that it ends there. I have a sense that we are interfering with the journey that we've come into, that we've chosen to come into experience. And by cutting it short, there are ramifications for doing that. Um, Sometimes it seems like the best solution, and oftentimes there is a bit of a victim state or a victim mentality that comes with it. And when one is in those states, how much can you just drop into the feeling and just stay with the feeling and just breathe through it for as long as you need to until something starts shifting? And again, I just want to remind you that when we are in those states, the mind wants to imagine worst case scenarios. Now, what I do recommend is finding a guide of sorts. For me, I've always found, I'm an astrologer and I work with tarot as well. I've always found, and so I have an intimate relationship with my cards. And I've always found that during these times, asking very practical, not prophetic questions. For instance, what am I needing to see? What am I needing to understand? And then looking at what's happening in the chart, it can create a more comprehensive picture of what the lessons are that I'm needing to learn and what's going to support me with moving through this. And so this is something that I do offer to clients as a package where I will do a reading for you. I'll look to see what's coming up in the chart that is presenting a challenge and ask questions with the cards that can give deeper context to how to navigate this. And just through having that understanding, it immediately opens up the mind's perspective from doom and gloom and victim state to, okay, there's a bigger picture here, and I can start navigating this. So I I just want to say that Life is very intense and it's very beautiful. And the more that we can become true to what is flowing through us, whether it's beautiful or intense, the richer experience we can have. I'll leave that with you. Thank you if you're still listening. I wish you all the best with your journey. Please feel free to reach out. Bye for now.